You know what I like? Playing video games. You know what else I like? Taking enough laxatives that I end up successfully shitting out everything in my bowels so hard that my ass actually begins to rocket me off my seat. Luckily, Red Barrel Games found a way to combine both of these into one horrific, frustrating, masochistic form of self-employed psychological torture known as Outlast. Or as I've affectionately nicknamed it, outlandishly good cardio for a character who sounds like he's having an asthma attack lasting throughout the whole fucking game. Or if that still seems like too much of a mouthful, you can abbreviate it to Oh I honey Agafaka was all to you. Huh. Or if that still seems like too much, Outlast also seems like a suitable name. Speaking of names, you play as Mal Upshur, a journalist who was tipped off that the big scary-ass looking insane asylum at the top of your fucked mountain, which is geographically located somewhere between the middle of nowhere and Silent Hill, has some sketchy shit going down. The person who tipped you off apparently works with the computers and software in the asylum and knows what's been happening, so he sent you to get in there so you can expose them for the evil frauds that they are. Which right off the bat tears a hole a lot like David Bowie's bulge directly into the plot in the sense that it's both massive and kind of hard to ignore. If this man knows what's happening, why didn't he just contact the police or army, then just send the press everything they need to know? He has direct access to the asylum computers. He knows what's going on and can just send video evidence along with official documentation and testimony. Even a Facebook status would probably turn some people's attention to this. It would probably be more efficient than just sending one man and not even having the common fucking courtesy of mentioning he should bring a gun. Or at the very least a rusty fork for defense. Which is a pretty big fucking plot hole, especially considering it's the very first thing established in the game. Speaking of first things established, we can pretty much establish right off the bat that Miles, the main character, isn't the smartest or most prepared of men, as right off the bat you're told you're not a fighter, and you only really have three options for gameplay: running, hiding, or dying. Which, if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, there's the option of just turning up the computer and putting a few nails in your mouth, biting as hard as you can and grinding your face across a chalkboard for about 7 hours, which would provide about as much of a headache and psychological damage as playing through Outlast would give. Not that I'm bashing Outlast, because while it is only actually 7 hours long, they will end up being 7 of the longest, most stressed and fear-induced hours you will ever have the most unfortunate chance of experiencing. And Outlast does this well by using a few horror techniques. One technique is powerlessness. Like the game says right off the bat, you're not a fighter. The only tool you have at your disposal is a camcorder that has night vision with a battery life equivalent to a AAA battery hooked up to a floodlight. But luckily, Miles Upshur is aware of this, so he thought ahead and brought 2 whole spare batteries along with him. Well, damn. That's about 20 more seconds of night vision with that battery eater you call a video camera before things go black and you're left with nothing but the sound of your character's asthmatic breathing, and the reminder that you could just easily hit the tab key and watch cat videos instead of subjecting yourself to this masturbatory torture. If you were to hit Alt-Tab and watch cat videos though, I'd suspect that your mind would end up completely confused as to where all the blood and guts went. You'd end up hallucinating, seeing something closer to happy tree friends and friends than adorable videos of kittens. You see, Outlast seems to have this slight obsession with gore, and this shows fairly early on when one of the first rooms you enter has a collection of heads and the occasional headless corpse swinging from the ceiling. Throughout the game, you're relentlessly subjected to visuals of deformed asylum patients, most of whom seem to be on some sort of strike against pants. Scattered blood smears and scattered body parts, and a corpse in every other room, which is bound to have its intestines torn out like the game is trying to meet some sort of intestinal tract yardage quota. So while the game is trying to go for disgust and the gore factor, it ends up doing this as well as fear too. Meaning that about 20 minutes in, you stop saying, "oh shit," when you see a mangled deformed body, and start saying something along the lines of, "oh wow," They managed to get 12.3 yards of intestines out of this one, and then continue to walk about your business throughout the hallways that are coated in blood like it's some kind of cheap wallpaper, like it's the most casual thing in the world. What I mean to say is you become desensitized to it rather quickly, meaning, dare I say it, it all just becomes mindless violence. I mean, there's a point to it if it's going to make you feel uncomfortable or disgusted or instill any form of horror in you. But if you become entirely desensitized to it, then really it's just unnecessary, and only serves to slowly strip you of your humanity. I swear, after running through Outlast, you could go watch one of those animal cruelty commercials and not even feel the slightest twinge of empathy. In fact, go do that. I'll wait here while you do. Go on. See, you didn't even so much as bat an eyelash, did you? I watched one of those commercials after playing Outlast and my only thought was, Jesus, this video only lasts 2 minutes long. I'm glad I didn't pay money for it. There weren't even any intestines in it. Of course, you're not always going to have to worry about being overexposed to mutilated bodies and the like, because this game is basically played entirely in the dark. Which is rather odd, because one of your first real objectives is to turn on the backup generator. So you would think there would be a little bit more lighting. But I guess they got rid of all the light fixtures because apparently making light in this game world takes up more electricity than it does to jumpstart an aircraft carrier, like you would a car with a dead battery. So you can expect to spend more time in the dark than Batman in an attempt to save battery life. But while you're spending more time in the dark than the Dark Knight himself, you can also expect to run across the ugly Bane reject from the Dark Knight Rises. The reason he was rejected, I can only think, is because he is a little special, and so instead of mocking you by talking about how you merely adopted the dark and so on, he takes to chasing you around while quoting his favorite part of a nursery rhyme, saying, little pig, but always stops there as if he forgot the next part of it. A part of me feels a little bit bad because he can't even finish a line of a nursery rhyme, yet the only way to get away from him is by finding the nearest bed to hide under, or a locker to stuff yourself in. It's like playing hide and seek with Lenny from Of Mice and Men. He's strong enough to tear down a steel door, but he's still a bit slow. So by the time he's checked one corner of the room, he forgets why he's even there and walks out of the room. Mission accomplished. Way to outsmart the kid on the short bus. Well, there is another way of getting away from him. You see, while he can break through steel security doors, if you just slide through a brittle crack in the wall, or between two pallets of wood precariously stacked next to each other, he can't seem to get past those despite the fact that a good sneeze would probably bring either of the two down. I don't know, maybe he's just self-conscious about his weight, and is upset he can't squeeze through those tight spaces like the scrawny wimp that you are. Speaking of which, this game relishes in reminding you of that fact. Quite frankly, it's not quite something I'm used to for a game to make cramming myself into a locker and making me whimper like a little bitch not only an option, but the only option to choose from aside from losing. And pretty much every time you think you feel yourself growing some type of backbone, this game rips it out right in front of you. Gives you a game over screen as a reminder that you need to learn your place, and that your place is inside a locker, so you might as well make yourself comfy. Bravo. I give any game that can successfully make me its bitch props. One last thing that I must give this game props for is the plot. The main plot is so linear it's painful. You're in an asylum, and you're trying to get out. Go from point A to point B, and you're not allowed to stray anywhere past the hallways. I see someone was taking notes during the design meeting for Final Fantasy XIII. So while that is incredibly simple, if you were to read all the notes and documents like some sort of person that cares about immersion or backstory like myself, you'd have to at least tip your hat off to any game where the plot is woven in with an asylum. MK Ultra, Project Bluebeard, Project Paperclip, Project 63, German mythology, and excerpts from Frankenstein, with the cherry on top being it all involves Nazis. With a plot woven like that, it's almost tempting to call it an over-the-top masterpiece, even if it does have a plot hole that reminds us of David Bowie's oversized bulge.
Well, hey there. Um, I guess you finished watching my video. Uh, I wasn't actually expecting that. Well, thank you so much. Um, would you look at that? That's it's that little subscribe box there. Oh, look at him. He kind of looks sad. You should click on him. I'm sure that'll make him happy. Make him smile on the inside a little bit. He's looking a little bit blue right now. So yeah, just go ahead and click on him. Also, you know what else would probably make him happy? You'd hit that like button or that dislike button if you hate him. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe leave a comment. Tell me how you liked it. Or I don't know. What else would make him happy? You could share this video. No, just go ahead and do that now. Actually, I'm sure that'll make him smile. Just copy this link. Go to your Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr, Instagram, whatever, and just share this video. Spread the love. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you again.